Good morning. If you are just coming in, give me a hello. Let me know you're watching. Let me know you're in. Today is we've opened up the group for our 7-day free Kickstart challenge. So this is for ladies over 40 who want to get into a bit more of a good routine, bit of structure around their nutrition, exercise, short 10-minute workouts, kickstart some motivation, drop a few pounds. If you want to get involved in that, I'm going to put a link in the description after I've done this video, so you can just come in. It's completely free. We start officially on Monday, but the group's open now, just so you can get a little look at how it's all going to work. Anyway, I want to talk about something that I talk about a lot, which is diets failing and how to really make sure that it works for you. And like, if you look at the research, like a lot of it is very much doom and gloom. It's, hey Julie, a lot of it is doom and gloom. So by doom and gloom, I mean, you look at some of the stats thrown out there, 93% of diets fail. In 2 years, 88% of weight regain happened. And I can say that, quite proudly actually, that I would say the majority of the people I've worked with by a long stretch are even years on, still sending me messages saying, I'm still keeping up. They still read my blog, stuff like that. I'm still keeping it up. And that makes me feel really good, really good. And it got me thinking the other day about, okay, there's this big study that looks at people who have lost 10 kilos or more and kept it off for more than a year. And this is like the benchmark weight loss study, if you like. And they look at what these people do, and they do really simple stuff. 10,000 steps. They eat lots of fruit and vegetables, like lean protein, like more around Mediterranean diet. They're like your typical Mediterranean kind of diet style lifestyle. They keep things really simple. They often have the same breakfast. Having the same breakfast might reduce the number of decisions you have to make. They ask them questions like, what'd you have for breakfast on Monday? Eggs. Scrambled eggs. Tuesday? Scrambled eggs. Wednesday? Scrambled eggs. Or it might be porridge. There's just one less decision they have to make. Very much routine and structure. Now, these are all really simple things, and people might be like, you know what? Yeah, that's obvious, but I still don't do it. And I get that. And that's what I want to get at here, is that consider that these studies, where it says 93%, are based on averages. They have to use averages, but remember that there's still a good percentage that do keep it off. Now, of course, that percentage is low. And if you were like buying a house and it said, 93% of these houses fall down after 2 years, you would go, well, not getting that. But consider that despite these odds stacked against you and it being so hard, what a lot of these average diets, if you like, fail to kind of communicate to people, and this is where they go wrong, in my opinion, is that they portray it like it's going to be easy forever and that it's always going to be linear. And that's just not true. And I think that's part of the problem. We're geared up to think it's going to be really, really easy, never challenging, never going to get out of my comfort zone. And I know that's kind of not what we want to hear, but any change is hard. But I've got some good news. Because when you consider where we're at now, isn't it hard anyway? So if it's hard anyway, and it's hard if you're going to change, you might as well choose the hard that's going to give you an outcome that you're going to be happier with. I'll let that sink in a little bit, because I think it is a little kind of shift in our mindset to think, if you write down, if there's a habit you want to change, whether it's snacking, whether it's getting more exercise, if you write down, morning Sue, if you write down what would happen 5 years from now if you didn't get a handle on the habit, what would happen? And if you really take this moment to do it, you can start to go, that's hard. That could be hard, the things that you write, the things that you say. And that in itself can actually give you a bit of leverage, give you a bit of, that's hard, but change is hard. But it's almost embracing it with small habits, like small habits starting now, not expecting it to drop off. Because actually, if you're doing small habits you can't really expect it to drop off straight away, but what you can expect is for your confidence to grow, your momentum to build, you to start feeling better, regardless of the scales. They'll come later, they'll follow later. But if you're doing something that you can keep up, that you enjoy, that you make subtle changes when you're ready for, and I think this is a key point. I'm not saying make it hard, because when you make it hard, you're just probably going to give up. But what I mean by this is expect a little bit of challenge. Expect there to be times where you are going to feel demotivated. Then you're looking at my support. Then you're looking at, who can I call on? What can I do in those challenging times? Part of the reason why we've got Dr. Adam Bibby coming in for our workshops and our Q&As to go over the psychology behind this. Getting and staying motivated was the key topic that we're going to cover first. Now, this is a big topic because obviously you've kind of got to look at the leverage in there, a lot of it. But I just want to touch on that because I think that's overlooked when you look at why all diets fail. Is it because it's like, I see this stage 1, I get uninformed optimism. I'm like, this is going to be the one for me. And then as soon as it gets hard and we weren't warned that there will be some changes, or we don't have the support in place, so that if you're like, I stopped working this week, I'm a failure. If there's no support in place, it's very easy to let that kind of impact you. I think it's so important to have that support there, or at least have kind of some leverage, whether you answer those questions that we went through, to have them to remind yourself of why you're doing it, or 2, have someone just to ask questions to, because sometimes, I had a chat with someone yesterday, it's a prime example, quite overwhelmed, lacking time, work starting to come back in again, and not sure where they're going to fit the workouts in, and it was like, okay, they were portraying their week as really rubbish. When you ask what's rubbish, they're still better off than 3 weeks ago, which is great. They're just not optimal. They're not perfect, but they're telling themselves they're not. And this is really important. We then went through it. We came up with a plan where expectations met their reality. And I guess this is what it's all about. Matching your expectations with reality. Because then she was like, I would be happy if I exercised twice on the weekend when I've got a bit more time, and then once during the week. That I would actually be happy with that. In fact, that would be 3 times more exercise than I was doing 4 weeks ago. But because she wasn't doing it every day, it was like, you know what, I'm an all or nothing person. When actually that all or nothing story, if you like, was the reason that was stopping her getting the results she wanted to do. And actually stopping her from avoiding the things that she wrote down with regards to that question of, if nothing changes, if I don't get a handle on this habit, where will I be in 5 years' time? So, a few things to think about. Like I said, if you want to get involved in our free 7-day Kickstart, this is for local ladies, so ladies in Wiltshire, over 40, who want to drop a few pounds, get a little bit of motivation, get a bit of routine and structure, 10-minute exercise sessions, low impact. I'll put a link in the description above, so you can get all the details there. The group is now open, but the first task doesn't come till Monday. So if you want to get involved, you've got till kind of Sunday night, before Monday morning, to get involved and started in that. Any questions, let me know, and speak soon. Take care.